you can also see it's 9:30 a.m. There's a day-night cycle, of course. That's very important for managing your crops, for managing the growth of legumes, for thinking about the way that the soil is affected in this post-apocalyptic scenario. So we're just going to make the smashingest thing possible. We're just going to give it a heavy gun here. We're going to give it a flag. Flags are cool. If you don't have a flag, then no one knows. Again, your units don't know who they are. That's what provides the color, and we've got to give it a good name. Wow, cool robot. That's actually the best unit in the game. The cool robot. You can see it's got 2 legs, and you know, a gun with another gun on top of it. I'm also making a spider. Oh, and this bat, of course, right? When the bat is just you know, it's like a flying scout that you can equip with bombs, and the bombs just mean that if they reconnoiter, you know, something inconvenient like a building or a pond, or you know, a child, then you can get it out of the way for the rest of your military. Now, this is, you know, the construction unit. You can see that it constructs by with its butt. It sort of extrudes out the south end buildings, and that's quite innovative. You know, most games at this point required you to use sort of hammer and chisel style approach. You know, you had a bunch of little men, and they sort of approach the target site with blunt instruments, and as they pound the ground into submission, the structure naturally forms around that point. You know, made out of wood, or made out of, you know, stone, or made out of food. You know, whatever you make structures out of. In this, you make structures out of money. You can actually see my money in the bottom right. I've got, you know, 100,000 money, because I'm playing as the United States of America, so you just get more money. The US don't have any people left. There's no people left in the US by this point. They're all actually robots, which is why all these voice characters are just, excuse me, sir, I am a robot. You know, the AI replaced all of the jobs, including the job of just, you know, being a person, and so they're pretty happy like that. And we're fighting against, of course, the Eurasian dynasty, which sort of combines every possible ethnic stereotype. It's kind of a mass scapegoating of all possible ideas for the other. And the Lunar Corporation, which of course represents women. Oh, I built a recycler here. Now this is an infinite thing. You can recycle units that you don't want anymore. You just put them in there, and they get stomped flat, and that's very good for the environment. Recycled my builder, because now that it's built the recycler, it doesn't, you know, I don't really need any more buildings in this. Right, I've got 1 production building, I've got 1 power building, I've got 1 recycling building, and I think I built you know, that little helipad there as well. And that's all the buildings really that a player needs in this game to succeed. Now, you know, I've been monologuing for a while about what makes this game great. You know, for a start, that you can build 7 cool robots. You can build a bunch of other things too. Oh, let's build one more. You know, we can't really build a shipyard because there aren't any. You know, there's no sea here. I think this map is San Francisco, which is a landlocked city. You know, Portland is the one that has the big, you know, the big port on it. But I've been monologuing, like I said, for a while, so let's turn it over to the Arcantos minute. Arcantos, what do you think about Earth 2160: Lost Souls?
Something is wrong in my dreams. Take them out of here today.
Wow, that's really great, Arcantos. You're so funny. I'm so glad that I'm friends with you. That we've known each other so long. You know, Arcantos and I give his opinion on other video games. Of course, you know, no video game is ever going to be as good as Age of Mythology, or Age of Mythology: the Titans expansion. So, you know, it's actually quite convenient for him because he doesn't have to do much reading, really. He's already got the correct answer to any question, which is just that the best game is, you know, Age of Mythology. Not the remake. You know, they added a ranged unit to the Norse faction, and it's just a historical inaccuracy, right? The Vikings never didn't know what a bow and arrow was. They never shot bows and arrows. They they threw axes. They invented axe throwing. They invented the axe. There's no trees, of course, in Viking lands, so they couldn't make the bows and arrows. They had to make all their axes for hitting people with, right? Because there were no trees to chop down. That's why they invented the term Viking. And that kind of historical inaccuracy in age of mythology is just not acceptable to me, and so that's of course why, and why that game gets, the remake gets, of course, 0 stars, and the original 5 stars. Now, this game, Earth 2150, it's a historical, it's a futuristic game, so I can't really judge it on its historical, merits, accuracy or inaccuracy. It's really just about the gameplay, which you can see is, oh no, I've lost.